What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? I have to get this one done quickly because you all have class in just a moment. So I'm going to show you how to create this very design. I'm going to give you the flowers in the photo. However, if you are in AI class on Monday and you have some flowers and you have some photos or portraits that you made, you may use those as well. But there's no need to come with anything. I'm going to go ahead and give you the PNGs necessary to create this file. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm turning on these guides so that I know where my 13 by 19-ish space is. And then also, if I'm going to do all overs, where the bleed can happen. Now, I want you to pay attention to something very, very carefully for this class because this is something that we've never used before, but I want to incorporate it, see how how your computers handle it. So I will show you at the end of this how this file will magically save your images. Remember how we quick export as PNG each of the important parts? Well, this is going to automatically do that for you, saving you time. So here we go. First, I want to show you when you bring in your photo, although you may have the edge faded off, which is what we typically love to do. I want to take you down to the photo layer so that we can actually create a layer mask here. So it can look like that she is inside of the frame at the bottom, popping out the frame at the top. And how we do that is we actually go down to our frame layer. And then we're going to control click on the frame here. And then we're talking about just that first layer of the frame, that white one. Okay. And then we're going to go to the graduate photo, add a layer mask. It's going to give us the opposite of what we want. So we want the inverse of this. So while we are clicking on the layer mask here, we're going to control I to invert it. And it'll be Command I on the Mac. And now we can see that the frame is on the outside here, but it's also on the top of her head. So we're going to grab our paintbrush here, make sure we load it up with the default, and we're going to load white up in the foreground because white's going to reveal this part of the graduate. So make sure that you are on the layer mask and not on the photo itself. Oh. I did not set it to white once I was on the layer mask. So while you're on the layer mask, make sure that you have white selected. And then we're just going to paint where the image is. And then the best way to do this, I'm going to go back and show you the best way to do this, is to control, click on the image of the grad so that you can only paint where the grad is. So I'm still on my layer mask, but I'm going to make sure that I only paint where the graduate is. That way it looks like she is exactly popping out from the frame. And then down here, I'm just going to loosely go ahead and fade that part off of the photo. So this one I'm going to use black because I want to conceal this part down here. And I'm just going to conceal, well, I'm going to choose black. My computer's lagging a little bit, y'all. Here we go. And I'm going to just lightly get rid of some of that image there. All right. And we're going to go ahead and switch out the design here. So this is our Congrats Grad design. But before we switch out any design, I want to show you some pretty cool features of what's going on here. If you go to File, Export, oh, I lied, File, Generate, and then make sure the image assets is turned on. So right now I just turned it off. I'm going to turn it back on. Okay. Once I do that, it creates a folder inside of the 264 folder, and it's called whatever the file name is. So this is my master file. So yours will be 264 assets. Okay, and if you go into that folder, it's going to generate the pieces. And let me pull this over so you all can see. There we go. Look at this. It's generated the pieces there that you all need to bring into your Automizer. And speaking of the Automizer, I have been working relentlessly. I had to work out some bugs with some power and internet issues. So please believe I am almost done. I will actually be able to show y'all a demo of each version from the bronze up to the vault. So y'all, thank you for being patient with me, but I have been working on this thing for you all for grad season. So in the meantime, you're going to be having some really, really cool designs to throw into that Automizer. All right, so I want to show you, and all of this is AI generated. The flowers are AI generated. The model is AI generated. Now the frame, I made that for y'all, but you get the point. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this thing out real quick. So, oh, let me tell you too what you're gonna have to do with these files. So they change every time you make a change in the file. So if you want things where they are right now, so before I flip it again, I have to make a file elsewhere, and I'll give you a little sneak peek of the Automizer Vault while I'm doing this. I might actually put this design through this Automizer Vault to test it out. I've been alpha testing it, so the alpha is about to release of the 2.0. I'm supposed to release it Monday, but I am still working out some bugs, but I think I got them all worked out, and we're going to see, or you all are going to see. All right, so I'm going to just make a little folder here in my, not in that assets folder, outside of the assets folder. If you put it in the assets folder, it could get confused because it's automatically populating those images there. So I'm going to make a new folder. Okay, and I'm going to call this my export. 262, and then whatever this is. So that one is graduation. And I'm going to put the theme there. The theme is sunflower. And the colors. So the colors are going to be blue and gold. And I don't even have to put the word gold. And then whatever my person's name is, I can put that in there too. But this is basically going to be a folder that houses these PNGs. So now I can go back to my master assets folder. And I want to show y'all how you can directly plug these things on into the Automizer. It's going to be so cool. All right, so I'm just pasting those there. So then that way, when I flip this, I have my additional elements, okay? So when you do this, you must make sure, must make sure that you have the entire background showing. So you can't have that layer mask activated when you copy those files. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full use out of your Automizer because it uses that big old background image, okay? Sorry, y'all. Just see we have some spam in the comments. Danica, that's not true. I sent out several emails saying that I'm going to update the vault. I've just been late on doing that. I was supposed to do it Monday. So no, you do not have to purchase it all over again. If you want to purchase the live class, you do have to purchase that because we do an Automizer in action class. So, yep. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. These skills are the ones that pay the bills, baby. I want them to pay y'all's bills too. So every time I figure something out and I find out how to do something in an amazing way, I'm consistently sharing that with you all. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and finish this design flip, and then I will tell y'all what I have been through with this Automizer, and I'm ready to share it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded for those who have class tonight. It looks like a complicated template. It's really, really simple, y'all. I'm going to show y'all how quick we can flip this out. All right, so let's go to the photo number 1. We'll double click on it. Now I'm going to give you these assets. You're going to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to go for this one. This is AI generated as well, and she matches this character. I was able to get consistent characters. I showed you all how to do that Monday in class. So if you ever need a design that needs to look like it was a photo shoot of the same person, make sure that you attend these AI in action classes, especially when we do face swap and consistent characters. All right, so actually I already have that one. So let's do this one. All right. So I'm going to close out of this one. This one's graduation as well, but I'll show you how you can flip that into Memorial, Mother's Day, anything you can think of. All right. So this one, I have the photo here, but of course my layer mask is not correct anymore. So I'm going to delete my layer mask. And remember, I already copied my images out of that quick export folder. And now I'm going to move my photo where I want it. All right. You could also resize the photo too. I want to kind of keep it the same size. All right. So let's do the pop out effect again. Again, we're going to go down to the frame, the first one, hold down Control, click on the thumbnail so that we can get the active pixels around the frame. Then I'm going to click on the photo and allow it to make the wrong part of the layer mask. And that's fine because all I have to do is click on the layer mask. Control I is going to invert it. So what was black is now white and what was white is now black. Now I want to control click on my photo so that I get the active pixels surrounding those little marching ants surrounding my image here. Grab my paintbrush and make sure I'm on the layer mask, and I'm going to use the white to reveal the graduate right here. Now you have to make sure she's in place because if you move her after this, the mask is not going to match up. All right, that looks good. Then I can do Control D to deselect, and I see that she's hanging out a little bit of this frame here. I actually could leave that there. That's fine to me because it kind of looks like the frame is still sitting on top. But if you want to clean it up, make sure that you are on the layer mask and that you select the black. And then you're just going to fade that off right here and right here. All right, time to switch her flowers out. And again, these are flowers that we generated in our AI class on Monday. So if you can never find a good combination of flowers that you want to see or colors, then just create them. Create, do not wait. All right, so this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this set of flowers, and I'll give you these sets of flowers so you can pick and choose which ones you want to use. This one's a really pretty pink and purple, a little bit of blue in there. All right, and you see it changed the first set of flowers. I have a second set of flowers as well. So we come up here to the top and change out flower number 1. You will do File, Place Embedded, or you can drag and drop. And this one is for my subdued flowers that I have for my first design. This one is going to be for this present design. And File, Place Embedded is how you will place your images. I'm going to close out. All right, so that changed my images in the front. Now, I did want you to be aware that sometimes you're going to end up with images that don't have the same colorway. And I want to show you how to address that. So for instance, these flowers here are not nearly as bright and pink. It's more of kind of like an orangey corally rose color. So if I want those to be punched up to this pink, then I'm going to have to go into there. And you'll see that I have one on my other layer. I actually had to repaint one of the flowers. And what you're going to do is a hue saturation. And let's go ahead and pick up the color. It would be, have to be on the layer, that kind of corally orangish color. And then when I double click here, I'm going to be able to change this color. Click on this little finger here. Let's pick up the color. It's saying that those are reds, and I can shift just my reds. Now you notice that it is shifting some inside the flower too. Most of the time it's going to shift the color that I want. I'm also moving my darkness and my lightness depending on how bright or how dark I want that to be. And then my saturation is how gray or dulled out or pastel versus the kick and punch of a very saturated color there. And then here my hue is determining what is the color base. So you can see that I can get a little purpley with it, and I want to stick to that brighter magenta color. I'm going to go back here and just see what kind of pink I want it to be there. Okay, so I've just eyeballed this and changed it this color, but you can also create a solid color layer, that same color, that pink, hit OK, And many times you're going to get flowers that don't come out the exact colors that you want. So this is why this is important here, to be able to just mildly change colors here. Now here I'm going to go ahead and create a clipping mask. So this is down here. And then I'm going to put a layer mask on here and just totally invert it. So right now it's black. That way when I paint with my paintbrush, I'm going to paint on the layer mask and not actually painting on the artwork. Okay, so on my layer mask, I'm going to select white because I want to reveal this color in certain areas. And I'm going to make my paintbrush a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be exact. This is watercolor, y'all. And then what I'm doing is I'm painting here, and I'm going to change my blend mode from normal to color. You see how now I'm getting more of the color that I want instead of that little corally color there. And I don't have to be exact, but I definitely want to go over these places where it's a little too purple for my liking. And now if I save these changes, it won't necessarily be an exact match, and that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is for the same color scheme here. Now keep in mind that you can also rotate and change these flowers. You have some flowers that are in front of the frame, some flowers that are behind the frame, but either way you are able to move those around. I just say if you can just click and go, then you don't have to worry about making any minor changes. All right, and so this is a pattern. Remember, we created patterns on Monday as well. So this pattern is already in here. All you'll have to do is change the pattern fill based on the scale or the direction. If you want to change the direction up, you can do that. And let me turn the opacity up so you can see what this looks like. I have it turned down because we already have a lot of flowers going on here. But you can see, you could even make like a printed dress based off of the tile that we created in AI. All right, so I'm going to bring that opacity back down. And you know what? I'll bring it up so that I can show you. I can even change the hue of the flowers here. I still have that kind of corally color. So I can create a hue saturation here. And I'm going to choose the reds. Create a little more saturation for the reds and then shift them just a little bit away from the orange and into my pinks and purples. I think that's good right there. And yes, this is super busy, so I'm going to bring it back down in opacity. I just did that so I can judge where I want my colors to go. Excuse me, y'all. And then we're going to change out the smart colors here. So my pink and my purple. Let's grab the eyedropper here. We've got our pink somewhere. And then we've got our purple somewhere. There we are. And that should be in my swatches. All right, so now when I go to change out color 1 and color 2, I'm going to make color number 1 my pink. All right, and we'll close that out and save it. And y'all, this internet is lagging right now. I apologize. Yeah, Zena, I'm getting into florals and all things like patterns just because I can make my own patterns now. So it's sort of a challenge. All right, so that pink updated there, y'all. And then this second and fourth text is now gold. So let's go ahead and change that color. And I apologize, my system is lagging right now, y'all. This internet is pulling. But I've also been doing a lot of generative AI, and I have not reset my preferences on Photoshop since. So, plus I have been practicing and testing the Automizer nonstop, all 5 versions of it. So that has been definitely taxing on my system. All right, so this one I'm going to duplicate this color here if it lets me. All right, then I think it was just delayed. Let's duplicate the layer, and then let's go ahead and grab the purple now. Nope. There we go. Grabbing the purple. Let's close that down. All right, now I can choose what color I want my lace to be. I think I'm going to choose the purple for the lace. I'm going to pull some more of the purple out of the design. And everything else, this one can still say congrats grad. I have another one that says in loving memory. I'll show you how to change that text out. How you see something that's not exactly how you have to use it, you can definitely use your imagination to figure out some other ways to get the use out of these templates. All right, so I'm going to go down to my lace here. If I just right click on it, I can see the word lace. Now, I will tell you this. When you have the image generation on, it does take up computing power too, because it's consistently accessing your system and basically updating those images for you. So that is another thing that is lagging a little bit as well. So yes, it's more convenient to automatically have those things exported, but it does cost something. All right, so here, what am I? Oh, I'm messing with my lace. That lace is in the background, I believe. I'm going to right click on it just to see. Now, it probably doesn't help that I have a million programs open either. And tabs. So right now it's showing out. Okay, there it goes. Let me just let it take its time because I am clicking on stuff and it's not doing anything. So I feel like that is a system issue right now. There we go. There's my lace. All right, so I can change the color from the pink to the purple. You can even add your own color in there. You can make it white if you want it to kind of calm down the background some. You can just add a solid color and make it white. Okay, and that kind of cools it off a little bit too. And then also the opacity of the layer is, or the opacity of the lace, you can change. Right now it's at 52%, and you can increase that or decrease that based on what you want to see. All right, so if I go with white, I would definitely increase the opacity. All right, now this is ready to export. As I told you before, you can export by just right-clicking on a group or an individual layer, and you can quick export that as PNG. That's how we've been doing before, and I've been looking into how we can possibly have it auto-generate the PNGs. And obviously, I believe that I was using it before without being live on streaming, and it was working fine. So now that I'm streaming with the internet and I'm using this feature, it is lagging. So just to let you know, this may cause lag for you too. So you have to decide if this is going to be right for your workflow to be able to auto-populate the files. So let's go here. Let's see, is it auto-populating my files? And yes, it is. Okay, so that's what my foreground looks like without me having to quick export my foreground. It has not done my background yet. And let me see, because I was fooling around with some stuff and I might have moved it. but it should all automatically generate right here. Another thing is you need to make sure that you're periodically saving just in case you end up with any crashes. So I'm going to do the save dance. And y'all, this could be used for all sorts of things. Invitations, you have backdrops, banners, posters, even artwork that might go in someone's room. So I don't want you to just limit yourself to a t-shirt because that's what you see on the canvas. All right. Thanks, Zena. External memory, I would also advise that you get some kind of cloud storage as well, like Google Drive, so that it could back up things while you're working on it, and also take files that are lying dormant on your computer, and basically they won't take up space on your hard drive as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this if I can right to the memorial one. Like I said, this is really, really simple, y'all. It looks complicated, but it's really simple. I just want you to get into how you are going to export these elements and be able to use them over and over again for different products. So you could use this to make a dress. You can use this to make a memorial slate. You can use this to make a graduation topper. Like, I want you to understand the options are endless with this. All right, so let's go ahead and change this design out to our final design. And am I frozen here? All right, so I just hit the image assets. All right, so if I wanted all this stuff here, I'll make sure that I take it all. Now, I am missing my background. And like I said, I think that's because it's stalling because I'm doing live streaming right now. But I can copy that. And I would make a separate folder for her now. Separate export folder for her. And that would be my export. And this one is graduation, peonies and roses, but I'll just put peonies so I can go ahead and save these assets. All right, so all I did was copy and paste them from that folder, and even saves my little colors there, so it helps me keep track of that. And the additional images that I didn't use is still saved, photo number 2 and photo number 3. That's because I did not change those out. I actually have them turned off, but it will still export them. So even if you forgot and you left the eyeball off of something, it will still export that. If it's a single layer that's turned off, it'll still export it. All right, so let's go ahead and change this out. I'm going to scroll up here to my photos here at the top. And this time I am going to use my photo 2 and 3 because I'm going to show you if you want to kind of do some watermarked images or collage images, you absolutely can. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on this portrait here. And this one, the flowers are much more duller. So I'm going to show you when we use our hue saturation, what my settings are for that in order to get those duller colors. And then you would do the same thing if you had additional photos. I just want you to focus on changing out one photo so that you understand the process and the workflow. Now for photo number 1, I'm going to double click here. And I'm going to turn off the flowers we just changed the colors of. You see these colors were much more brighter before. But what I did was I went into the hue saturation, and just overall, all of the colors, I brought the saturation down to the left, which mutes the colors. It makes them more dusty or more towards gray. And that's the type of color I was looking for because that's the colors that she had on her dress. So you can even take colors. I didn't shift the colors at all. I just simply changed the saturation of the colors, and now it looks more like what she's wearing. Okay, I'll do the same thing for flower number 2. Like I said, that was a hue saturation. and I just brought down the saturation. That's the only thing that I touched on there, just brought down the saturation. Now, if your colors are off, let's say if this was blue and you wanted it to be purple, then you would either have to repaint that area or shift your magentas to bring them more towards blue. But this is it. I even like the way that it made the leaves look all like a dusty sage color. All right, and now that those changes are saved, I'm going to do the same thing to the background because the background has some pretty colorful flowers, but I did a hue saturation to kind of bring that saturation down again, almost the same amount there. Okay, and the idea again is for the florals to just kind of be watermarked in the background, not too distracting. And then for my color 1 and color 2, I'm going to choose from the flowers here. I'm going to get that kind of peachy color there. That old mauve. That's what they called it back in the day. And then I'm going to grab purple. Right there's good. I want a little bit darker purple. All right, so then when I change color 1 and color 2 out, and pretty much I almost picked the same exact color again. That's why I'm not shocked at myself. So that color is very similar to what I had before, but I like to use the color picker just to make sure that I'm picking up the right color because sometimes I don't remember where I picked those colors from in my swatch, so I don't want to chance it. All right, let's go ahead and change out color number 2. Okay, a little slightly different there. Or actually, I think that was the one that we just did. So yeah, let's change that out. All right, so now we're getting more of the color scheme that I want here. The pop out feature isn't quite right, but we're going to go ahead and fix that. Really easy fix. We're going to delete the existing layer mask. Now that we know how easy it is to make layer masks, we are not intimidated by layer masks anymore, y'all. All right, we're going to control click on this frame here, click on the photo, make a layer mask. It's going to be inverted. I'm going to do Control I to do the opposite, which is the inverse. All right, and then I'm going to grab my paintbrush on the layer mask tool, make sure I have white selected, and white as in the default white. And let's go ahead and paint over the frame so we can expose the model here popping out. There we are. And then for this one, I really don't have much hanging out, but I do see that hard line and I'm not feeling that. So I'm going to go to my black and then just make sure that I'm fading that off. All right, and that is a beautiful design, but we can show you how to do a little bit more. We're going to add our watermarked images, and all I did here was just bring the opacity down. You may even want to bring it down more than this. Right now it's on 73. And then I'm going to bring the opacity of my background up just a little bit. Right now it's on 34. I'm going to bring it to around about 40. And then I'm going to change the color of my lace. Seeing if I want to go for old mauve or my purple. I think I like the purple, but I'm feeling like the 100% opacity is a little too strong for the purple. So I'm going to bring my opacity down to about 76% for the purple. And I even like how the design kind of went over her face, kind of giving it like a little watermark tattoo look. And of course, we can change out the text. So right here, I'm going to go to, actually, the easiest way to get to the text is to right click and then select the word that you want to change. So the word congrats could be in loving memory. Let's put just in loving at the top. And then our next word would be memory. And then let's see. If I want to change the name, same thing here. I just right click on the word and let it take me to that word. What I'm going to do right now is just change out text number 2, which is the one that says grad. I need to zoom in a little bit to get to it. All right, there's grad. So instead of grad, I'm going to say memory. Well, hopefully it spells memory. Memory. There we go. And love and memory. And there you have it. The stones inside of here change. And if you don't want the stones, you can change it to a flat color, or you can do a bevel emboss with the flat color. That's all up to you. Whatever floats your boat will find your lost remote. And I personally really like this design without anything in the background. So let me see if it did my assets here. I need to tell it to generate. See how generate image assets is off? That's probably why I was moving a little bit faster. So don't do this until you're ready, until you're done. I know y'all excited, but save that for when you're done. Then that way, when you click it, once it's checked off, it is active. That means it's 100% consistently accessing your computer to see if you made any changes. Every time you make a change, now these images should be updated. I'm just going to refresh here. And I should see some changes happening. You should see some changes happening too. All right, you see I was starting to update that. And for me, oh, let me go ahead also, let me fade off down here. I forgot her image was longer and I didn't get enough off of her face. Yeah, I'm tripping. But see how all the components I wanted it to save, I wanted to do this by itself because that could just go on a poster or a banner or something. I have my individual letters or text. Those lines of text are saved separately and as a whole group. And all of that because of how I structured my file or template. All right, and oh, it's updating, but I do need to fix her. That little bit over her face right there and where she's faded off down here. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead, save this file, get this uploaded for you all for class. Y'all know what to do. I will give you the AI models. I will give you the flowers that you can switch out. If you came to class on and you want to use yours, you're perfectly able to. Just make sure that their background's already cut out. We're not cutting out the backgrounds. We do that so many times. You should be able to do it in your sleep, or let Remove BG do it in your sleep. Okay. All right, so that's it. That's all, folks. I promise y'all I'm working hard on this Automizer, and I am almost there. A lot of sleepless nights and hours, but I think that you all are really going to love it. I'll give you, like I said, a little sneak peek of what the vault has in it. I actually added, that was probably part of my problem. I added some more products to each level, from bronze to silver to gold to platinum to diamond and then to vault. Okay, so this is your bronze, that was getting at least one of those depending on your homework levels. Y'all, I know I'm working on your stuff. I feel like a teacher grading these papers late, but I got y'all. If you are if you have the platinum, then you already know you got that has a, let's see. Oh, actually, you're getting more than what you got. I went ahead and did the dress for y'all since you all did your homework. I saw y'all posting. So I did the dress for you all. I did luggage for you. I didn't have luggage in there before, so I have that now. Notepad and pen. We have 3 different types of keychains. I did the luggage tag. We did a table runner so that you can do for your businesses. Also, of course, we have the memorial package. Now you have a for the home package, which has portraits and landscape style artwork or posters. So that will be something good for you to, the thing that we just created just now, I'm sure you could charge somebody to put it on and show it to them on a canvas. They'll pay for that to be hung up in their home somewhere. All right. And then we have a vehicle version where it has the car coasters and money card. That's all for the grad there with the air freshener. So like I said, Vault, I've really, really, really worked on making it up and pushing a lot of products, because this is the last that I'm doing for that Vault. I'm going to be starting a whole new one. It'll be a 3.0 version. But I wanted to square y'all away with this one first, especially before graduation season, because I know for a fact if you don't do anything else but just use the Automizer to show people how much money they can spend with you, even though they only ask for a single shirt, then I know you will make bank this graduation season. If you got any t-shirt orders, you should be able to get basically either bulk orders or package orders. Okay. All right, my loves. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all dearly. And until next time, bye.